Okay. Hello. Happy Saturday, October 29th. Turn on my video for a second. I'm a real person. Happy Saturday. I'm speaking slowly right now because the majority of webinar participants tend to join about a minute or two later. So I'll speak intentionally and slowly as though I'm saying something, but at no time right now am I actually saying anything, although I do wish you a happy Saturday. I will turn off my camera. We have a Q&A. All right, I was muted. Sorry. Hello. I was saying that we have a Q&A tab, and we're actually going to be making pretty good use of it in this webinar. Do a little demonstration to kind of a live demonstration of market psychology. Because ultimately, that's what a chart is. And I think it's helpful because you'll probably prove it to yourself, right? Rather than me proving it to you or me telling you something matters or doesn't matter. So let's start the webinar. It's going to be just a few slides, and then it's going to be about a methodology. But for those that know me, like they say, okay, I want a how-to webinar. It's like, well, okay, but I can't do how-to unless I start with why would you, right? You don't want to learn how to do something unless you're motivated. Like, why would you do such a thing, right? Someone says, I want to teach you how to fish. I say, well, why would I want to fish? So how can you look at charts? Sure. How can you create a trading plan just off of a chart? Okay. But the first part is why would I do such a thing? Why motivate me? Why do you think that's possible? I would love to hear your opinion. And if that opinion or demonstration, presentation is not convincing, in 15 minutes, you can get off the webinar and say, you know what, this guy, I'm not motivated. I don't want to use charts. I don't get it. It's not my thing. And so I want to do that first. So to prevent you from having to spend a whole lot of time watching something at the end saying, why did I do that? All right, so I'm going to start the slideshow. Yes. So I do have to give some disclaimers because we will be talking at some point about specific stocks, entries and exits, hypothetical trade plans, profit zones, loss zones. And it's just very important to understand this is not a solicitation to buy or sell any security ever, okay? This is not advice. I'll go further and tell you that the results or the charts, things I'm going to talk about, trading plan, it's really provided for general information purposes, okay? As a convenience to you, the viewers. The materials are not a substitute for obtaining professional advice from a qualified person, firm, or corporation, and I am not a qualified person, firm, or corporation. All right, I think I've done a sufficient job with disclaimers so that we can move forward without me having to hem and haw a lot, but I just want to start with that very clearly. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, here's our agenda. I'll tell you what we're going to cover. We'll do it in the app, and then we'll do Q&A. Okay, great. So very interesting. What will we cover? We'll do general layout and functionality of a platform, some shortcuts, what's coming, but the most important thing is the structure of a charting plan, like the methodology that you can use with anything. It doesn't have to be with our software, it can be any software. It can be with, some people actually like to do charts on actual paper and pencil and a ruler. We will talk about some mega techs. We'll talk about screening for strength, even in a bear market, then some more charts. And then for those of you who are Trade Machine members, I will show you why these two intersect. But most importantly, as I told you, before the how is the why. So before I start saying the why, I don't want to influence your decision. So I want you to just say out loud, or perhaps in your head out loud, like, I am not convinced. For those of you who are not, some of you are, there's certainly some chartered, market technicians here. But for those of you who are not convinced that charting, that there's even a hypothesis why looking at a chart would make you money. Just a hypothesis. Doesn't have to. I'm not going to prove a hypothesis. I can at least offer a hypothesis. I want you to really ask yourself, have I ever really thought about that? Am I sure that I'm willing to endeavor in this thing? Because if not, then there will be doubt in your mind as you're trading, and that it's a valid doubt. You should honor that doubt and honor yourself. So we have to address it, right? Either you will or will not doubt it. Okay. So why would any of this matter? Why would a stock chart matter ever? Oops. Why would all these lines matters ever? That is it matter. All of these lines matter ever, not matters ever. Okay, so let's do that. So if you use charts, right, I'm talking, we have a lot of professionals on this webinar, far better technicians than I am, far better chartists than I am, far more experience at charting than I have. My experience is generally in computational finance and fundamental analysis, starting in 1998. But charting, I'm okay, all right. But if you are a professional, whether you're a technician, a chartist, or a casual user, you implicitly all agree on one thing. Everyone on this webinar implicitly agrees on one thing. If you believe, like, hey, if you're just get to it already, get to the charting stuff, okay? And that one thing you agree on, you agree on it, I agree on it. We all agree on it, okay? And what is that thing? Let's make it explicit, because when it's explicit, then you can rest on that you've done the work of the why, so that the how-to matters. How-to does not matter without why. I hope you take that away from this webinar. It's not just for charting, it's for life, right? How do I paint my house? Well, why do you want to paint your house? Okay, all right. Oops. All right. If you use charts, you implicitly believe that market psychology drives short-term to medium-term price movement to some degree, not long-term. I don't believe that it influences long-term. And there are some people who do. So there are some real purists. I disagree with purists. It's not right or wrong. But in the short term to medium term, I do. And I want to motivate why that would be the case. It's about psychology. So when you look at a chart and you make some decision about it, other than just like when you look at a piece of art, like when you look at it and you're trying to make some assessment, you are implicitly saying something. You are saying this, that market psychology matters, and further, a stock chart is the expression of that psychology. A stock chart is the expression of that psychology. And I will support this idea with two reasons. I believe fundamentally, no pun intended, at the core of charting, looking at charts, there are two reasonings that support that psychology. One is actually pretty easy that I can prove to you. It's actually really easy. It's based on the media, commonly referenced numbers. I'm going to show you that first. That one will move you, but not shock you. You're like, yeah, I knew that. The other is based on investors in each specific stock individually. Like, why does a chart of stock A and a chart of stock B look totally different? And I can make totally different conclusions. Or why can't I generalize the rule, right? Why can't I just say do steps A, B, and C on any chart? Why is that just not the case? Why is it change for individual stocks? Why does it matter for individual stocks? The first one's actually easier to prove, I think. So I don't think that's going to be a real shock to you. I think you'd be like, yep, that helps. I think it's slightly less meaningful. It's still meaningful, it matters, but I think the real driver of charting is the second one, and it takes a mental exercise. And we're going to do it together with the Q&A tab. And once you're done, I think you'll never forget it. You'll never forget it because you've convinced yourself, or you'll never forget it because you've convinced yourself of the opposite. You say, you know what? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Right? I do, but you will make that judgment for yourself. And I think the only way to really do that without have this sort of conversation and throw around some terms and maybe use some snippets from various charting books, I think you need to experience it. Okay, so the one that is based on the media and commonly referenced numbers, okay? This is where technical analysis would come in, okay? And here's our proof. Here's an article from Business Insider. This was 2020. Said the S&P 500 is flirting with a key technical support level, 50-day moving average. That's the market. That's the Business Insider. CNBC. The S&P 500 is set for about 4%, 5% decline. The measure looks at what percentage of NYC stocks are trading above their 200-day moving average. A nearly perfect track record. This is mainstream media talking about moving averages, 50-day, 200-day. Bloomberg. The S&P 500 is testing its 50-day moving average. The media is telling us that it matters. It is creating a psychology around the fact that it matters. And therefore it does. The Wall Street Journal. This is in 2013, right? S&P 500 at risk of further sell-off as the 50-day moving average nears. I had to cut that off. Reuters. S&P edges above the 50-day moving average. This is in 2014. This is, I'm choosing dates all around the place, right? Barron's goes even further. This is 2022. The S&P just hit a death cross. A death cross is when the when the 50-day moving average crosses below the 200-day moving average. So in this article that Barron's wrote, they're talking about both of them and how they intersect. They're not just saying one matters, the other matters. They're saying they both matter. So this was the green stuff, right? One is based on the media, commonly referenced numbers. It's easier to prove, right? That because these things are brought up over and over again in substantiated media, in Bloomberg, in Reuters, in the Wall Street Journal, over years and years. I showed headlines from over a decade, all of the media, right? That it is implicitly and in fact explicitly creating something in our minds as a psychology that says these numbers matter. I think that was easier to prove because it's not hard to find these articles about the indices. What's a little harder to prove, which I want to go through, is why would it matter stock by stock? And further, what if it's not just technical analysis? What if it's not just moving averages? What if it's actually charting? Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. But it takes a mental exercise. So I would like you guys to find the Q&A tab and to just start typing in. But when you type in, all I want is stock prices, just like, 47, 130, whatever, it doesn't matter. Don't have to tell me if you're buying, if you're selling. And this exercise is for you, it's not for me. So I think if you participate, it will help you. Thank you for 129, not yet. not yet. We have a exuberant and engaged. Stop with the prices, guys, I haven't started. $1 million. Okay, ready? Here we go. This is going to be the evolution of a stock chart. It's 180. I want you to understand that just because this chart, this white space stops here, doesn't mean the stock doesn't go to 900. I adjust this white space, and same down here. Okay, so don't think that's the peak or that's about. Okay, that's not it. You have now decided to take interest in a stock at 180. I'm not saying you're short or long. I want you now, whether you're short or long, you don't have to tell me. When you are moved to make a trade, just type in the number. Ready? It's 180. Okay. It's at 175. If you want to do something, type it. You want to get long, you want to get short. It's 182. I'm making a trade. Long, short, if there is, just send in a price. Send in a price. How about now? I want to take a position now. That price is 150. I'm going to make a trade. Long, short, close a long, type in the price. Say it out loud. I think out loud. This is for you. How about now? How about now? If you got long at the 150, are you staying in? Are you shorting? Are you getting long now? Just write the number. Write the number. How about now? What do you do now? What do you believe now? You're making a trade now? Getting short, getting out of a long, starting a long? If you're trading, put in a number. How about now? What are you doing now? If you got long, if you're making a trade, getting it long, short, closing, doubling down, price. How about now? What are you doing now? You motivated to trade now, to close a position, to open a position? That was 150. How about now? If you got long, are you closing now? If you weren't long, are you getting long now? If you're short, keep them coming, guys. Good job. Really good. Good. How about now? How about now? Stock's at 180. Stock's at 180. What are you doing? Trading, closing, opening? How about now? Stock's back at 150. What are you doing? Were you long when you got out? Or were you short and closing? Are you opening a position, doubling down? How about now? Send me the price. I want the price in there, not just your position, just the price. How about now? Stock's at 130. What are you doing now? Bailing? Are you long? Closing a short? What are you doing? How about now? It's 150. What are you doing? Send them in. Send me those prices. Okay, for those of you that can see what's going on, the velocity of answers is probably 10x the velocity of answers I had when we started. When we started, we got, I don't know, 30 people. Probably seen 300 responses in the last 2 minutes. Okay, make your decision. Here we go. How about now? How about now? Closing a long, closing a short, initiating a short, initiating a long. Remember, don't worry about the size of the screen. It can go lower. How about now? It's at 150. What do you do now? Initiate a long, close a short, double down, send in the prices. There you go, guys. The velocity is getting so fast that I can't even scroll with my mouse enough to see the answers. You're actually coming in faster than I can scroll. How about now? It's back to 180. What do you do now? Shorting, longing, closing. It's at 180. What are you going to do? Okay, that's the end of the chart. The answers, the velocity of the answers here was very, very little, maybe 30 people, 40 people. By the time I was getting into this range and got up to here, I started getting so many answers. That I couldn't scroll fast enough with my mouse. These are daily candles, by the way. Okay. The vast majority of numbers within 3% that I see here, as we're doing this in real time, kind of collecting, right? I'll just read them so you believe me. I'm not going to say what people did. I'm going to read the last few ones. Ready? Here we go. 182, 130, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, 150, 180. Those are the last several responses. Everyone here implicitly was making a decision just watching. You don't know what stock this is. You don't know what business this is. You don't know what the earnings are. You're implicitly making decisions. And the decisions you were making were based on congestion. These points were repeating. And by the time we got here, everybody was making some trade at 180. Right? But why was that? Why? What does 180 mean? What stock is this? What does that even mean in market cap? These are daily candles. This is about 2 months. It's because it repeated over and over and over again. 150 was the second most commonly referenced number. Here, here, here. Right. So what happened? What happened? The evolution of the stock price as it behaved in its own way for this specific stock. Anybody want to guess which stock this is, by the way? Another little shock to the system. These are daily candles, this crazy volatile stock. Yeah, Brian got it. That's right, Pete got it. It's Apple. It's Apple. Your psychology was forming, knowing nothing about what this company does, earnings. It was formed by the repetition of patterns. And as you guys proved with the velocity of your messages, the volume of trading, the volume of messaging started increasing extraordinarily by the time we got to the fourth or even the third time I hit this. By the time we got here and these two, I couldn't even scroll fast enough. That's the volume of trades. And why did the volume increase as we got to these points? Because it had repeated. We were implicitly drawing these lines in our mind, implicitly. Right? So this is what part of what Pattern Finder does. It does it for you. So that was the mental exercise, right? That what you looked at was nothing more than your psychology. It was where fear and greed were building. And the velocity of the fear and greed increased as it repeated. Once Nobody cared. Twice, nobody cared. Third time, getting almost too fast for me to scroll. By the time we're at the end, everyone said the same price. Okay. I hope at the very least, you'll never again forget why a stock chart is market psychology. What you just did is there was no reason those numbers mean anything about the stock. It was your psychology. Hey, last time it hit that, this happened. And the velocity started increasing. I believe it again, and I believe it again, and I believe it again, and now I'm willing to trade. Right? So it can be as general as the S&P 500, right? The mainstream media creates a narrative, and therefore we implicitly digest it and regurgitate it. 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, 2013, 2014, 2017, 2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, Reuters, Bloomberg, Barron's, CNBC, Wall Street Journal. And then there's as specific as a single stock. If you use charts, whether you're a professional technician, a chartist, or a casual user, you implicitly agree on one thing. That market psychology drives short-term to medium-term price movement to some degree. A stock chart is the expression of that psychology. That's my stance. I have supported that idea with two reasonings. One was based on the media. The other was based on each individual stock, how investors start moving together, a sort of herd mentality as things repeat. And that's it. I'm going to be finished with the slideshow right now, and I'm going to go in the app. For those of you who are like, do I want to watch this next part of the presentation? I said I was going to show you a how-to, but I said I was not motivated to show you a how-to unless I described and explained why to. If the why to didn't move you, then it doesn't matter how to. If you're allergic to fish, then it doesn't matter if I teach you to fish. You don't want the fish. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a stupid person. In fact, in that regard, it makes you rather clever. You can spend your time doing other things because you don't want fish. That's smart. That's intellectual. That's understanding that we only have so much time on this planet. None of us make it out of this alive. Sorry for the news. We want to spend it doing things that interest us, that matter to us, that we believe in. That's the motivation. It's then and only then does looking at a chart and creating a charting plan actually matter, which is what we're going to do next. Because without the motivation, without the why, it's a total and utter waste of time for you. And I don't want you to waste your time. And even further, if it hasn't been proven by yourself, to yourself, then you will question everything you ever do when it comes to stock charts. You'll wonder, what am I doing? And if that is the case, then you should not do it. Do something else. Do something else. That's the high IQ move. The low IQ move is to do it even though you don't believe it. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry. Okay. So this is Apple. This is the chart we were looking at. I'm going to turn my tooltip off. This is actually, it was this part of the chart. We started around here and we were doing this, right? Okay. So now I'm going to move myself through into what I hope will be a very, very, very helpful methodology on how to trade charts. Not what I think is the best signal to show you trades that worked for me. Not at all. You'll see none of it. I'm talking about a systematic, methodological approach to doing charts. That you can now go anywhere and someone shows you a chart and they say, what do you think about this? And you'll say, hold on one second, I'm going to do three things. And after I do three things, I'll tell you what I think. But until I do those three things, I have nothing to say to you. Because you will, after this, explicitly have a trading plan. And as I have said in prior webinars for our option traders, when you have a trading plan, it's not in ethereal terms, it's explicit. So if there are children watching, people who maybe like foul language isn't the best thing, you know, oftentimes I'm so honored. A lot of parents bring their children to my webinars. Mute yourselves for a second. I don't want to offend anyone. I'm going to say a bad word, okay? But when it comes to a trading plan, I cannot be any more serious than what I'm about to say. And that's why I have to use foul language, because it resonates. When you have a trading plan, write it the fuck down. I don't mean write it down in your head. I don't mean jot it just down on a piece of paper, just with a little scratch. Write it the fuck down. I'm in here. I'm out here for a gain. I'm out here for a loss. Write it the fuck down. Otherwise, you will lose money because you will trade based on the moment's emotion rather than yesterday's intellect. Today, we're intellectual about the future. When we talk about the future today, it's unknown and we can be wonderfully intellectual. When the future becomes the present, intellect is gone. It's emotion. If you trade with poor emotions, then the market psychology will make you bankrupt. So how do we avoid that? Well, we can be intellectual today. And to be intellectual today, so that tomorrow we are not infected by improperly associated emotions. We write it the fuck down. Because tomorrow, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm freaking out. Stocks going up, stocks going down. But I know yesterday, man, I really trust myself yesterday. I really trust myself yesterday. And yesterday I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Because yesterday I was in IQ mode. I was in intellect mode. And today I'm not. Okay. All right. I'm going to give what I hope is no more than a 2-minute sort of, say, guided tour of this, and then we'll actually get into trading. But if I just get into the trading without showing you what I'm doing, there's going to be this sort of wave of like, I don't understand what buttons you're pushing, and therefore I can't pay attention to a methodology to trade charts. So I'm doing this so that we can move forward. Okay. The majority of this screen is a stock chart. I think you see that. The upper left-hand side is a snapshot. So you click it, you'll see some ratings, the relative strength, EPS history, fundamentals, valuation measures, number of funds owning the stock, and some metrics like the 1-year return, 13-week return, cash from operations, things like that. This is the snapshot. These are menus. So if I wanted to see market news, I would click market news. If I want to see Apple news, I'll see Apple news. This is real time. If I want to see how Apple is within its industry, here. If I want to see some financial statistics, for those of you that know me, know Capital Market Laboratories, we are great depth. We are members of Thomson First Call, members of FactSet. We're analysts of record. When people say, oh, XYZ company reported $100 million in revenue versus analyst estimates of 98 million, we are part of the analyst estimates, right? Those 30 people, those 20 people for each stock. Okay, we're not every stock, but we are part of the consensus. We have been invited. It's a privilege you cannot apply. So we love fundamentals. We love fundamentals. Relative strength stuff. Holders information, like who the change, the holders, who are the latest transactions, the largest transactions, the top owners. And then we have a community button. So anyone who joins Pattern Finder, you're going to be in a community. Okay. It looks kind of like this, just so you know. I'm not going to go through the community. Like this. Okay. A bunch of you. It looks like a Twitter feed. All right. That's good enough. Not trying to do that too much. I can close it. Now, if I scroll down to the bottom of the screen, which we're going to be doing as we build these methodologies, there's a few things. This is how you create screens. Okay. Don't worry about it right now. I'm just letting you know that's there. Okay. We have something, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's really annoying. I got a zoom menu there. We have something called options, right? It's going to be real-time option prices coming soon. The thing that's coming the soonest, let's say within 1 to 2 weeks, is pattern breakouts. So, well, what's a pattern breakout? I'm going to tell you why a pattern, again, forget the how. I want to tell you, I have to motivate it. Why? Why? Right. And then I'll show how. You can close in some tricky things. I don't know, like it's easy to not see it, but like there's actually an upper menu here. So if you're scrolling it like this menu actually powers a lot. So if it's hidden, you're like, where's the menu? Just click up here once with your mouse, then scroll up. This actually matters. Okay. And then of course a lower menu. I think that's a pretty good guided tour. These are the chart lengths, which we're going to be going through and why you would use each one, 1 day, 5 day, 3 month, daily, minute, 15-minute, hour, day, week, month, bars. We have an earnings box. So if you're like, hey, how does the company done with earnings? It's right here, turn it off. Any kind of relative strength charting you want to do, we really pride ourselves on giving you all the options. So just for example, this would be Apple versus its industry over a year, versus its sector over a year, versus the S&P 500 over a year, versus the Russell 3000 over a year, versus the Russell 2000 over a year, versus all stocks, all 8,000. And then the same thing over 3 months, right? That's how you would have it and add it to the chart. Moving averages, we talked about the 50-day, I'll just add it. Technical indicators, before I make a decision, a part of the methodology is for me to check the RSI. So I like to have the RSI on. I'll say why in a second, doesn't matter. I'll turn it off for now, but that's part of my methodology, 100%. Okay. And then, if you guys like Fibonacci's, sure. Okay. All right. Apple's like right in between two retracements, not really a surprise. Okay. All right. So before we get into trading, now remember those pink lines? Okay. We would go here and we would, let's go to an 18 month, just really get down. I'm going to 18 month because it's what we were looking at together, right? We were looking at this portion of the chart, right? So here, I'll draw up. We were looking together, we were doing this little trading exercise. We were actually looking at this portion of the chart. Okay. All right, so how did I get those horizontal lines? I just clicked horizontal lines, and no surprise, it's exactly where you saw them on the slide. Why are these forming? Our algorithm looks for congestion, so points where the local highs and lows, where the stock continues to hit these highs and lows, and it starts to act as market psychology. We have a little bit of flexibility, so like within 3 or 4%. That's why 176 is like there's 181. That's kind of how the market works. And you'll notice it's very funny. It was exactly the same price the last time, to the penny. That doesn't always happen, obviously. Same thing with these. You can zoom in and kind of see what's happening with this congestion, right? Local top, local top, local top, local top. Stock gets through the top. What do we know about support and resistance? What was once resistance is now support, right? It breaks through support. It's not going to stop, right? Okay. That's horizontal lines. That's exactly what the slide showed. And just to be really explicit, this is the beginning of the phenomenon of market psychology, right? If many of these line up, these points, it means a lot of shareholders bought or sold there. And the hypothesis for chartists is that those prices, especially if they repeat, become anchors for rallies or sell-offs. Call them congestion points, call them whatever you want. They become temporary support and resistance. And the reason I say a lot is because you'll notice that there's a lot of days around that. And as I was showing you when we were doing the Q&A together, right, the velocity really started increasing as it started repeating. But these horizontal lines are static. They're good. It's good to start. It's a valuable algorithm we've added. But stocks move in and out of bullish and bearish trends. They don't just trade on these horizontal lines. They matter. We can use them as stops and limits. But what happens if they violate those lines like Apple just did? We need to add trends. So we can use these same congestion points, but try to see if there's a trend. Are there higher highs or lower highs and lower lows? That's where you add trend lines. Apple has a series of higher lows, and that support is actually trending higher, but it also has a series of lower highs, right? That 181, 182 kind of snuck down to 176 as the velocity came up. And this is just using the psychology as well. As we discussed, it's just a fancy way of saying when people will get fearful or greedy. Right. All right, the last part is what are called can slim. Someone named Bill O'Neill created these. We'll go to 3 years. There are certain patterns, cup and handle, cups, ascending bases. They have a lot of weird names. Doesn't matter for now. We can see with Apple, for example, there was a cup with a handle and then it rose. There's an ascending base, then it rose. A double bottom here, it rose, but what generally happens with the double bottom, if the stock cannot get through that, it becomes a point of resistance and the stock will fall. If we want to know about these patterns, we click on the patterns tab and it'll tell us about it. If you want to know more about these patterns, you go to the help section. And for now, since we're just building out this help section, Investopedia has some awesome articles on these. But one thing I would say is, I'm hoping when you look at these, you're thinking, man, I would really like to know when this is happening. It's great to see it in the chart, But could you tell me the day this happens? I hope that you're saying that because that's exactly what is coming here. The pattern breakouts, which are coming soon, it's actually already live in alpha. So internally at our company, we're already looking at them. So that's what's coming out. You will click it and you'll just see a list of, recent cups in the last day, 2 days, 3 days, ascending bases, double bottom. So you'll be able to find these not a year and a half later, but right now. What's also coming is an alerting system. So you can say, hey, I want to know the day it crosses the 50-day moving average. Okay. Now, with all of that, we are now prepared to actually make use of charts, right? Okay. There was a bit of information overload. Now let's do it. So here is the methodology. Here's the methodology. Okay. Take everything off. Let's just start with a chart. The methodology is long-term, medium-term, short-term. Long-term, medium-term, short-term. That is the order of operations. Now you say, well, what's long-term, short-term, and medium-term? Long-term, medium-term, and short-term. That's a really good question. For some people like me, long-term is 5 or 10 years, which means medium-term is, 3 years or 18 months. And short-term is 9 months or 3 months. Yeah, but for day traders, long-term is 3 months, medium-term is 5 days, and short-term is 1 day. It's today, that the minute bars. Right? But that's very personal, your trading style. It's still long-term, medium-term, short-term. Do I want to make a trade? Do I think the probabilities are on my side? Long-term, short-term, long-term, medium-term, short-term. Let's do it. We'll do it with Apple. So we'll come in with a stock that we're interested in, and then we'll do it again when we don't have no idea what stock we're interested in. We would just want to find strength. All right, here's a progression. Here's a long-term 10-year weekly chart for Apple. In and of itself, other than the obviousness that we were in a big bull market, I don't really draw many conclusions here. Apple just had earnings. It was ingested as a beat, doesn't matter. It rose. I'm not good enough. So I have a thing with numbers, right? Where I see numbers as colors and I can do computations incredibly quickly. I'm not like that with charts. Some people, you can meet some chartists, they're savants. They're just savants. They can see things on the chart before anyone else can. That's not my thing. So I need help. I want the horizontal lines and I want the trend lines. While we're at it, I actually wouldn't mind the 50-week moving average. I'm not as good as they are. That's not where I'm a savant, if I'm a savant anywhere. Okay. Now I say, okay, long term. I just want a basic feeling here. I will not take a trade because of the long-term chart, but I will stop looking if I don't like a long-term chart. This is what I see. I see higher lows, higher highs, an upward channel with room to support. With room to resistance. Nothing complicated. That's really what I look at long-term charts. This qualifies for me. It's my check mark where I can actually start deciding if I want to trade. Okay. So my conclusion, this bounce off support looks real. The volume was substantial. There's room to the upside. Okay. It's not a buy or sell, but it's not I want to skip it. Now, medium term, 3-year daily. We can see with the daily that the volume was really, really strong. In fact, if we go to relative strength and volume, we can see that the volume yesterday was almost 3 times the daily average volume the last 50 days, which makes sense because it was an earnings result, right? So this was substantial volume. This big candle makes sense. The stock did bounce off of support. There was still room to go, but now we're going to be a little bit more clever. First, always draw on your loss zones first. Forget the gain zones, draw on your loss zones first. Here's my loss zone. Here's where I say, I am out. Okay. I'll just take it where it currently is, and I would be out at support. Okay. And now we can draw in our profit zone. Okay. These shapes are actually very clever in Pattern Finder, and I'll show you why. Okay. So here we go. That's kind of our profit zone. Doesn't have to be the most beautiful drawing ever. Okay. Loss zone, profit zone. I like doing it visually because I can see is the risk to reward. Let's say the risk is the height of the loss zone relative to the profit zone. So right, risk to reward. Is that a good trade-off? It looks about 1-to-1. I don't like when we'll see charts where it looks like a great looking chart, but I don't know. The upside is it's been had. All right, so my conclusion on this one is actually the same as with the 10-year. I'm just being a little bit more careful. The bounce off support is real. This volume was substantial. There's room. I'm not making a trade yet. 10-year was a check mark. The long term is always the easiest for me. It's just like, is this terrible? It's not. Let's move on. Here's medium term. Now let's do short term. When I click the short term, you'll notice these stayed. My profit zones and loss zones stayed. Our drawing tools understand they stayed where they are. And we can see that there was this upward thrust before earnings, right? Here's the profit zone. Here's the loss zone. We still have this trending support. We do have a series, as we said, and we saw it even in our demonstration, lower highs. Right? Okay. Now I have done long-term, medium-term, and short-term. Now I'm considering maybe this is something I want to get long. I would get out. I could either use the support line that we saw back on the 3-year, right? Like down here, which is, I don't know, like the 140 area. Or if you're going to look at a shorter term chart, say, I'll come down to 135. I'm willing to give it some legs. Remember, up to you. Profit zone is actually right about the same on all of them. In fact, if I go to the 10-year weekly, you can see it's how conveniently they work out, right? Oh, that top is actually right here. It's magical. That's when you get agreement with charts, right? I'm looking for the agreement in charts. But since there are people I know who look even shorter term, let's just go ahead and do 3-month. We'll just do it. But we'll go to daily. A 3-month weekly doesn't really help us. And what I see here actually, magically, I'm going to go to a little bit of a different color. I actually see this too. Like, feels kind of like that's the local top. And it agrees again. Right? These are all kind of agreeing. My loss zone and profit zone, right? I'll go back to 10-year. Right? Here's that line. Oh, that's weird. It lines up exactly, right? Right there. It's amazing. 3-year with the daily. Huh. Right there. 9-month. Crazy. 3-month. Okay. So my conclusions. All the time periods show a bounce off of support for that time period. And the room to resistance, our profit zone, is substantial. The profit zone is the resistance line, right? So let's go back to, let's say, the 3-year. Right? That's the profit zone. Okay. The loss zone is support, or if you want to stretch it, if you're kind of a riskier trader, then you can take it down to the 9-month support. That gives you a larger loss zone, and maybe you would extend your profit zone through this congestion. That, everyone has a different risk tolerance, right? How big of a loss are you willing to take? So this is not advice, and I'm actually not taking this trade. Just so you guys know, full disclosure, because I'm actually focused on other places, and actually earnings are coming up, and I run a research company, and I don't have time to do this. But this is how someone told me, hey man, what do you think about Apple's charts? Long-term, medium-term, short-term. And remember I said there was one last thing. You guys remember that last thing? See if anyone remembers. What was the last thing I said? It was the last thing I check. Anyone? It's 3 letters. All of a sudden, people are shy. It's RSI. I need to make sure if I'm going to get long or if I'm going to get short that the RSI is okay. And the RSI right now is in the 55 range. That's okay. I'm just making sure we're not at the 7, right? It's generally considered an RSI over 70 is overbought, or an RSI below 30 is oversold. I'm not trying to get long a stock that's overbought, oversold, right? So that's the last thing that I do. All right, let's clear this all up. So hopefully, before we go further, someone said, can you add the 21-day? Sure, I can do that for you, no problem. Let's add the moving averages, 50-day, 21-day. That's the process. Multiple time periods, start with long, go to medium, go to short. The long-term chart, you don't really make a decision other than negative, other than like, pass. And I'll show you one of those. We're just like, yeah, it's not, I'm not in. I'm good. I don't see the risk to reward. I'm not even going to look at the medium term, short term. The only way you make it to the next shorter time period is if the time period before had no red flags. Like, no, this looks good, right? This looked all right. Okay, I'll go shorter term. This looks all right. Okay, I'll go shorter term. Hey, this looks all right. I'll go even shorter term. Take it to daily. This looks all right. Okay, right? That's the progression. The goal is not to find a stock to trade. Believe me, I will show you many stocks that you can trade. The goal is to get rid of them, right? Make the list smaller, not bigger. There's plenty of stocks to trade, which is a good segue. The next thing is saying, okay, well, you came in with Apple. Clearly, I've been prepared to talk about Apple, right? That's not really how the real world works. For some people it is, they know the stocks I want to look at, but sometimes we don't. Okay, now let's do the same thing where we find something that I would say looks like Apple, but I don't know about it, right? You and I don't know about it, but I want to find the stock that kind of satisfies these things. Let's build a screen. This is our screen. I'm going to create a new screen. First thing I do for this is I want to make sure the company has at least 100 million in revenue. If a company doesn't have 100 million in revenue, it's not really my thing because they're driven by news more than any kind of fundamentals. Like you could like a biotech that has zero revenue, they're going to be moved by an FDA thing that no one was expecting. I'm looking for strength right now. This is going to be a screen for strength in fundamentals, strength in relative strength, and strength in the buying volume. The buying volume is very heavy. So I'm going to be looking for companies that are profitable. So I'm just going to go down to free cash flow, and I just want it to be greater than zero. Like they just have to be producing a free cash flow. So we have about 10,000 companies in the database. We're down to 2,500. All right, now I'm going to go to the relative strength. For those who don't know, the relative strength is how the stock has performed relative to a benchmark, let's say the Russell 3000. So if a stock is up 10% and the Russell 3000 is up 10%, it hasn't outperformed, right? But if a stock is down 10% and the Russell 3000 is down 20%, that's substantial outperformance. We do that across all companies and we just give it a number from 0 to 100, right? 100 is the best performers, 0 is the worst performers. Okay, I'm looking for strength. So let's just say I want to do relative strength over the last 3 months of at least 80. That means at the top 80 percentile. Okay, that's pretty good strength. All right. When it comes to stock price, actually, I forgot. I really don't look for stocks less than $10. And I know some of you specifically look for inexpensive stocks. That's fine. This is my screen. Doesn't matter. And I realized actually when I do relative strength, I don't just want 3 months. I want actually the last year as well. Okay, we're down to 228 companies. Now I want to know that the fundamentals are strong. I know that I have the free cash flow is positive, but I mean, that's not really enough. So we have a proprietary rating called EPS rating. It's a proxy for fundamentals, and it's the same thing from 0 to 100. Want it to be 80. And you're like, yeah, dude, what is that? So you just click the question mark. Our proprietary rating for EPS strength, stocks are scored from 1 to 100. 100 is best. Comparing a company's earnings per share growth with all domestically traded companies. It combines annual changes going back 5 years, free cash flow margin, revenue growth, forward revenue growth. So that's what analysts are estimating, right? So forward. Revenue measures are weighted slightly less than EPS. It actually takes 16 metrics. 12 are EPS focused, 2 are free cash flow focused, and 2 are revenue focused. Now we're down to 66 companies. I want to make sure I see what industry these are in. So I'm just going to say, just show me the industry. That's just click a button. And then finally, you know what? Let's just see companies where the stock price has been strong. So in the last 10 days, they're up a minimum of 5%. I don't know, just like I would like to see strength. We're down to 58 companies. Down to 58 companies. And close the editor. Let's just order it by sector. And here we go. You're going to notice which sectors are strong. You tell me, right? Energy, minerals, right? Coal, integrated oil, oil and gas production, oil refining and marketing, right? Okay. Number 1 and number 2, where's their strength? Finance. And what in finance in particular? Regional banks. Regional banks. That's where the strength is. Okay. Now, once we've done that, I'm not going to go back and forth between the screener and the charts going up and down, right? So you view it as a watch list. There it is. Now I can close the screener. Thanks. And here I am. Now, just to prove to you that I haven't picked a stock, I'm going to go through stocks slowly. Okay. You guys choose which 2 you want me to do in the same methodology. Okay. And you can put them in the Q&A tab, whichever ones you want. Yeah, sorry. Okay, someone said COP, I think that's ConocoPhillips, and someone else said Caterpillar. Great, okay. And just so you believe me, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. You're like, oh, it's a setup. That's what people said. Those are the first two. Okay. So ConocoPhillips. Okay. I'm going to close this watch list. The next one we're going to go to is Caterpillar. So I'm going to go the 10-year chart, the weekly. All right. So what do I think about the 10-year chart? What do you guys think about the 10-year chart? What do you guys think I think about this? What would you say about it? If you start with the long term to make a determination if you even want to look shorter term. Is this good or bad? Should I keep going? Someone says no red flags. Anyone else? Someone says at resistance. Overbought. Topish. Overbought. At resistance. At resistance. Exactly. So when I look at this one, I'm not saying ConocoPhillips can't go higher. And I'm not saying, hey, we throw on the Fibonacci's. I don't have a target, right? Here's the extension. But to me, I don't even want to look any further. It seems like the good stuff is out. That doesn't mean it's not going to keep going up. That's not, as you saw, we have plenty of stocks to look at. This one just doesn't pass for the first one. So I'm not going to go any further. All right. And then the next one you guys said was Caterpillar. Let's do that. Okay. This is insane. Okay. Let's see what's going on real quick. Earnings. Caterpillar's earnings. Got it. Okay. What do you guys think about the 10 years? Should I keep going to the medium term or not? Are there any red flags? Right. So I have, should I go over? I said, I have yes. I have why. I have yes. I have keep going. I don't like the gap. Fair enough. Okay. So let's do it. 3-year, and we'll go to a daily. What do you guys think about the 3-year daily? Too close to resistance, risk reward not worth it. Someone else says probability at resistance in the midterm. Someone else says bad. Someone else says nearing resistance, getting too close to resistance, overbought. Oh, the dotted line right here, guys, just so you know, is the current stock price. That dotted line is not a point of resistance. It's just we make it so that you can see the current stock price. So I agree. I think it's too far, but I'll tell you what else would have knocked this out. I'll bet you if I look to the RSI, I can almost guarantee you it's overbought. And the RSI is, yeah, it's over 70. Let's see if I look at my tooltip, if I get it, which I'm sure I can. Oh, let me turn on my tooltip and close this. Yeah, you see the RSI 73.35. So this would have been a knockout for me. It's just overbought. It doesn't mean it's not going to keep going higher. This is not a trade. It's not to get short. I have a long list of companies that I can look at, and I'm actually looking to say no until I feel really good about it. Yes. Someone says no soup for you. That's right. So that's how I look at it, right? I just showed you two that I didn't go any further, right? The stock trends are still here. I can save these results if I want to, right? All right, so if I click edit results and I save the screen and I save it as fundamental strength, blah, 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 save it. So then I'll just close all of this. I'll go to my saved screens. And here it is. I call it fundamental strength, buying strength, and RS strength. And you can go through it. One way to do it is to look for companies that have really strong 3-month relative strength. They might be overbought. A REIT is interesting. I'll look at NLY. I don't know. I'm compelled. I'll even use this kind of weird. Okay, so this says, as far as pattern finder is concerned, wow. Right, you can see why it thinks it's through support. Look at that. So I don't love this one either, right? So that's the process. Just curious how this looks on a weekly. Yeah, super scary. I'm out. I'm out. It did, if you zoom in, actually, it did do something nice. It did recover these, right? So it did recover these congestion lines here. Zoom in. It recovered those, but yeah, I'm out on this one. So that's it, guys. I have been only speaking for 54 minutes, and I promised you certain things. There's still something to go for Trade Machine members. I'm not done. But I promised you that I would give you the how-to, but before the how-to, I would give you the why-to. I hope I've done that. And then I've given you the how-to. And I think it's rather methodological. This thing you've been looking at is called Pattern Finder. And if you want it for we just introduced this product this Monday. So it's 6 days. If you want it with a special price, you go to bit.ly webinar_pfinder. Okay. I'm going to do QA, but before I do like live question and answer, maybe look at some charts, some questions you guys have. Maybe you guys disagree and you want to share that disagreement. I'm going to show you what I did for Trade Machine members. For Trade Machine members, the charting that you saw, not the screening, not the fundamentals, the charting is coming to Trade Machine, the Create tab, for free. You're going to get it for free. If you want the whole enchilada with the screening and stuff, we're offering Pattern Finder to current Trade Machine members for only $11 a month. You guys are already paying $129 a month. I'm not trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip, right? We do have data costs. They are per user. We do have infrastructure costs, right? I do have to pay salaries, but you will be able to get them together for just $11 more. So that's up to you. But I think I need to motivate. Why in the hell would you use it? I did the how. I did the why for charts. Now I have to give you the why would you use it for Trade Machine. So I'm going to put this link. Oops. In, I guess it's chat maybe. So you guys can look at it. I don't want to, keep the screen up, but that's kind of weird. So I'm going to go to chat. I'm going to send it. I'm going to send it to everyone. If you guys want to get the special price for Pattern Finder, I put it in chat. Now, okay. So Trade Machine members, you guys are a little harder on me. I can't just show you a thing now. I have to validate with timing. So I'm going to validate with timing. So the only way I can validate things with timing, I have to use Twitter. I know this is absurd, but Twitter timestamps things, right? So this is October 25th where I said this, right? So the Today tab said there was a buy the dip opportunity. Buy the dip is getting long on a slightly out of the money call. Over the last 3 years, I had 5 wins and 3 losses. These are the results in Trade Machine, right? Buying a call for 30 days, 5 days, 5 wins, 1 loss, 371% return over those 3 years. Okay, but what then? What do you guys think I did? Well, I did the long-term chart. What do you guys think about this long-term chart? Is there a reason to say no? This is 4 days ago. You guys can answer in the Q&A tab. Like, is this a red flag? Yeah, looks okay. It's worth it to go shorter term. This was good. I love that it bounced through this congestion. I mean, it just looks good. Okay, well, then I did a 3-year. And how does this look? I feel like there's room. It was right at the 50-day. I have no reason not to do this. And then I went shorter term. And so now that's when the stock was at 318. You guys can see that. It's timestamped. It's timestamped. I'm not lying. Timestamped. Okay. Let's just go into Pattern Finder and see. Like, let's just do it. I don't know. It was 318. Really, it was 319 in fairness. But not, sorry, it's Lulu. So 4 days ago it was 319. Well, there you go. There's your $10 pop. Let's get in a little closer. It's this giant candle. Oh, that's a weekly. Let's go daily. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Now what would I do? Yeah, I'm probably done. Am I going to wait till the resistance? Maybe, maybe not. That was a long call that made like 80% in 2 days. Like, I'm good. So that's, if you're a Trade Machine member, that's how I would use it, right? Go to the Today tab, right? The Today tab is the most powerful screener, I think, in the world for options trades, above anything else any other firm has. And that's why institutions use it. It's just radically powerful. But then I would verify with the charts. Long-term, medium-term, short-term. I like it, I'll do it. Okay. So that's how I would use it. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. That's how I would use it in Trade Machine. The Today tab does the work for me. I go to the Today tab, I go to the tickers, I decide what I want to do. Another one was Oxy that I shared on Twitter, and you guys can just look. I'm not going to like bore you guys with this. You can just look at my Twitter handle. Like, this was Oxy. If you guys are wondering who the hell I am, like, just that's me. Okay. So you do that and type in Oxy and you'll find it. Okay. All right. It was very similar. All right. Now we're going to do a Q&A. And since I am trying to help my company out, I'll just kind of leave this up obnoxiously, but I'm now going to introduce our head of product, who is and great deal responsible for some of the great things on this product, which I'm really, really pleased with. I hope you are too. And she will read through the Q&A for us so you don't just hear like me droning on. Her name is Alicia Newman, formerly of Apple, currently of Capital Market Laboratories. Ms. Newman, if you would.
You stopped video support, so I'm just gonna dive into the Q&A. One of the emailed questions that we had, we didn't have many, but somebody asked support, how do you know when a company is fundamentally strong?
So that's a fairly complex question, is what CML Pro is about. That's what we do. But if you're looking for a short answer,
yes.
If you're looking for a short answer, you want to make sure revenue is going up rather than down. Start simple. Is the top line growing or not? It's a yes or no. Right? I'm not saying it has to be 50%. I'm saying if it was 1% last year, was it 0.5% the year before? In other words, it's going up. That's number one. Number two is, do they have free cash flow? Remember on the last screen I did, actually, I can show you the screen, that little snapshot. It might make it easier for you. Here, let me do that. I think I can do this relatively easily. Let me minimize this. Make this a little bigger. Okay, I think this is going to work. Do you see this little blue thing now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I made sure the revenue was a certain size. I made sure it had free cash flow, right? That it was positive. That's what I was talking about. And then you say, well, what about the revenues? The growth, whatever. Well, then I use our EPS rating, right? So the question is, well, what is the EPS rating? Okay, that's a really fair question. And then I'll just open that up again. It's under the company tab. Oh no, it's not. It's under proprietary ratings, EPS rating. So this is what I look at. I look at EPS, free cash flow, and revenue. If revenue is growing at some pace, if the free cash flow is positive at some level, if EPS is moving positively as well, that's the basis for saying something is like, at least you could say, I'm answering a question that takes 4 hours and a question that takes maybe like you want to look in 30 seconds. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. For 30 seconds, that's pretty damn close. Positive free cash flow, growing revenue, growing earnings. That'll get you most of the way there.
Okay. Without edge, emotions don't matter. Well, that's true. Sorry. Hello, is the community in Pattern Finder the same community as Trade Machine? Thank you. Yes, it is actually.
That's right.
We asked Trade Machine members before we started community for Pattern Finder if they were okay with Pattern Finder members being in the same room, and it was a resounding yes for the most part. And now you guys can share back and forth. So
yeah, and a part of that I think was motivated because within a month or so, Trade Machine members are going to have in the Create tab, they're going to have these patterns, so it's relevant to them. But yeah, as she said, it was a resounding yes. I think it was 96% yeses. So for every 25 answers, we got 24 yeses.
Is volume included in those lines?
Oh yeah. Oh no. So the question that someone is asking is, those lines, like, aren't they maybe more valuable or also interesting if Ophir can pull up Pattern Finder, if these lines have volume? Not yet. That will be round 2. And I'm guessing, I don't know, it's not a promise, but I'm guessing maybe we will either weight them or we'll actually have like trend lines volume weighted, horizontal lines volume weighted. So far, members have said like, this is, don't give me more than I need to. Like this is working for me. And you'll also notice, by the way, it's not like you're almost, let me turn off my tooltip. That must be so annoying. You'll notice that these volume bars tend to spike near these things anyway, right? That's very, very common because there's a lot of trading. And the more they repeat, it happens more and more further out, like volume. Let me go a little slightly shorter. Right. Here it happens slightly interesting. Here it happens way more interesting, right? You can just see the volume bars on the bottom. So it kind of tends to work out that way anyway, but not yet likely coming in a few months.
Does Pattern Finder work on intraday charts? It will be killer if this automatically drew bull and bear flags. Those are great.
Yeah, so we definitely have intraday data. You can do like a daily with a. Oh, wow. That was weird. Okay, that works. Yeah, so we do daily. You can do an hourly chart. So let's go to hour. No, minute. Sorry, forget hour. Let's do minute. Let's do minute. Go to the 1 day. Right now, that's weird. Okay, write that down.
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, we just released 6 days ago. Our bad. I'll do the 5 day.
It's probably because we don't have live data right now.
Oh, how do you like that? So we have a bug on weekends. Okay, so believe it or not, the answer is yes. But the one thing we don't have yet is trend lines that are intraday, and that's coming in. I would hope by the end of this month. So all those lines, those horizontal lines, those trending lines, the green lines, those are coming hopefully by the end of the month to that intraday data, to the 1 day, 5 day, 3 month data. So the answer is not yet, but yes, it's obviously on the list.
RSI 20 and or RSI 14.
That should be 14-day RSI. Alicia, can you write that down and we'll ask Jay?
14-day RSI. Yeah, we'll put that in the help tab. We'll probably let that be customizable eventually.
I'll also say this: if it is the 20-day, it's gonna be the 14-day. The 14. So just so you guys know, for those of you who are like, there's different kind of RSIs. The standard RSI that you always see is a 14-day. We use 2 in Trade Machine. We should be using 14-day until there's a choice. So that should be 14 days. And if it's not, it will be. So that's a good one. That was a great question. Thank you.
What if you wanted to collect premium, say on Monday with a Friday expiration with bear call or bull put?
Yeah. So if you guys go to my Twitter account and look at the Oxy trade, it was diagonal. So I got long a call that expires 1 day before earnings, but it was a 2-week call. No, sorry. Yeah, no, it expires after earnings. Pardon me. Right. So I get to keep that implied volatility, but I'm selling a call that's 1 week, that's dated to 1 week, which expires before earnings. So it's bullish, but it doesn't really have to go up. It just doesn't, if it doesn't go down very much, it'll be fine. And that's on my Twitter account. That was the Oxy trade, and that was on the Today tab, this diagonal. So absolutely, yes, you can do that with selling spreads. You could do that with getting long a spread, but selling a shorter dated option. So yes, 100%. That's actually built into Trade Machine.
Is the charting process suitable for option swing traders?
Yeah, and so that's what I mean. Like, you figure out what, you don't have to use Trade Machine to trade options. I do, but you don't have to. But once you decide, hey, I want to do something, I want to get short a put spread, I want to get long calls, I want to get short puts, whatever it is, please spread and don't just buy naked options. And please don't put market orders. Please use limit orders. Do not use market orders. Yeah, then I'd look at the chart. I would look at the chart the way I do: long-term, medium-term, short-term, and then make a determination. Where's my stop? Where's my limit? Now, remember, if you're using options, you're using a derivative. So if you look at a chart like this Apple chart, for example, that we started with, legit. Okay, so if we do this Apple chart we looked at, let's say we liked it, get out of here. Let me go to 18-month on the daily. And remember, it's here. So you say the stock's at 157, maybe you want to not stop out, you want to limit out at around 170. Okay, do the math for what that's going to happen to the call, right? You got same thing here. It's like, maybe your stop would be, if you're holding stock, your stop's at 135, or if you're on the 3-year, it's probably a little tighter. But just remember that if you have options, if the stock is down 4%, your option can be down 90%. So you want to start setting your stops and limits based on the option price, not just the stock price. You're muted.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm a little under the weather, so I keep muting myself because I'm coughing. Are the hourly charts real time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
DXY too strong.
The dollar is strong. Yes.
Didn't you set the screener to RSI greater than 80? That would mean all stocks left were oversold.
No. So there's a difference between RS and RSI. It's a really good question. Here, I'll actually write it down and not just use words. So I'll create a new slide. So the RS is relative strength. The RSI, this is going to drive you crazy, is the relative strength index. Oddly, those are two different things. This is a stock return over a certain period divided by the, let's call it an index return. That's all it is. Right? So if the stock is up more than the index, it'll be a big number. If the stock, it doesn't matter if it's negative, right? The stock can be down 8% and the index is down 10% and it's better. But the RSI, the relative strength index, actually looks at the changes in the price. It's an index. You can actually see it's a very simple arithmetic computation. And it's based on a score that also goes from 1 to 100, unfortunately, where 70 is considered overbought. It's not a rule. I'm just saying that's how people think of it. And 30 is considered oversold. I actually, in my research, I find that 25 is oversold and is one of the best signals I've ever seen with technicals. This is something different. They are different. And it's a really good question. And that's very confusing because they both use the phrase relative strength. These are two different things.
You could short the stock. True.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Shorting into strength isn't my favorite thing. Just like buying into weakness isn't my favorite thing. But of course you could. You start getting crazy RSIs, then yeah, if you've got the kind of the stomach for it, for sure.
Let's see. Charting questions and additions. Number 1, add other moving averages. That's coming. They'll be fully customizable at some point. Just not yet.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Change color and pattern of moving averages. That's coming as well. More customization options are coming to the charting platform. It's just not yet.
We're dealing with the functional stuff.
Yeah, we're dealing with the functionality right now, but yeah, eventually you'll be able to change the color lines. Right now we're using the statistically most different colors.
That's right.
There's actually a color study that says like which colors are most different when they're put next to each other. So that's what we're doing, but eventually you will be able to customize that. And save modified chart layouts. If I shrink the MACD, for example, as soon as I go back to the next stock, it reverts back. That's coming too. You'll actually be able to save multiple chart setups. It's going to be a little while. So if like that's like a make or break for you, like it is using local storage to save the settings. So you don't have to like rebuild your chart every time, which was a big thing that we realized during the beta test. But as far as being able to save like multiple chart setups and like little things like the MACD size, that will be a ways out. I don't know where that's going to land on the development list at this point. And a screen would be nice to add moving average crosses.
Yes,
that's coming. Yes, that's actually on our like top list.
By the end of November, maybe sooner.
Yeah. The long-term one from 4 days ago. I don't know what that's in reference to. It might have been when you were asking questions for everybody to.
Probably about Lulu.
Yeah, take at least half. Okay, so I see what's happening here. Take at least half, array score. Okay, so Alicia, to get the $28, do I need a coupon? I went to the link Ophir gave and it says 38, or do we just email you? Yeah, if you're a CMAL Pro member, you can get Pattern Finder for $28 for as long as you're also an active CMAL Pro member. Right now, you'll need to email support to get that coupon code. We had a coupon code that was live and I think it expired last night. Yeah. But if you email our support team, someone's going to get back to you with a custom code that's just for you, and you'll get that discount when you enter it on the sign up page.
Same thing for Trade Machine members.
Yeah, I have Trade Machine. If I sign up now, can I cancel later and revert to my grandfather Trade Machine price?
Yes.
No.
No.
Once you cancel your Trade Machine account, the grandfather pricing is lost. So
you can cancel Pattern Finder, that $11 add-on, and you can keep your Trade Machine price, of course.
Hey Alicia, great to have you here today. Oh, thank you. Great to be here. I would enable my camera, but Ophir disabled it. So
Oh no. I didn't. Sorry. I'll turn mine. I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's fine. I don't think anybody wants to see my mug anyway. Does the screener have capability for viewing and filtering by fund, interest, and percentages?
So you're talking about screening on
Filtering.
holders. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. I'm not sure.
I think we did put that in, but if it's not in yet, it is coming because we do have all the holders' data.
I think it's right here.
Yeah,
Institutional
institutional
holders.
holders. Yeah, that's right. I was going to say we definitely were.
Yeah.
It was on the development list. So
Yeah.
let's see. Is there a dividend option when screening?
Yeah, for sure. So it's financials. Let's say we were only interested in dividend players.
No, you missed it. It's up a little.
I believe you.
Yeah, I saw it and then I
Okay.
missed it again. But yeah,
I'll find it. Yeah, of course we have.
Just
absolutely.
Control F.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dividend yield, 3-year annual dividend growth. So yeah, you're like, hey, it's got to have a minimum of 2% dividend yield. I wonder if any companies do that. Boom,
Yeah,
44. Now 44 companies. So yeah, absolutely.
And our help tab has a sitemap of where all of these metrics are under each, like which tab they're under. It's just like a quick little like
Where do I
rundown
go?
of, like, with bullet points.
Where do I go?
Let's see. Oh man.
What if I just type screen?
Which metrics can I scan for and where are they found? But it's you can just type screener maybe or scanner.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
So this is a nice easy thing, like you can Control F and then find whichever tab those metrics are on.
Oh yeah, right here.
Handy little cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Eventually we will have a search section directly inside the screener, but for now this is a nice little like handy, like maybe you even want to print it out.
That's true. You could do that for now. I mean, you guys got to remember, we're trying to build the most crucial functionality, like the pattern breakouts. I want to know when a cup is happening. I want to know when the stock crosses the 58 moving average. I want to be able to use trend lines on the intraday charts. So things like making it convenient to find the metric names. All right, that's going to fall off the table for a while. We want to get the functions
in. Thanks. Does that change sticky when moving to other time frames? Oh, I think they're Mark, if this isn't in answer to the question that you're talking about, let me know. But so there's a lot of questions about how you can change trend lines. So if you click on the trend line inside of Pattern Finder, click on the trend line.
Sure. Yeah.
Two little yellow boxes will appear.
Yeah.
One changes the angle and one changes the length so that you can start it at any point on the chart that you would like.
Let's say,
drop it.
Let's say, hey, thanks for that. I think yours is not good.
Yeah.
So you can just.
Yeah, if you don't want to use the AI trend lines, you can absolutely customize both. You can also draw lines on the chart and make your own trend line that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And okay, so some of the drawing tools were sticky. If you change the trend line on, say, a 10-year chart, the trend line, does it stick when you move to a 3-month chart, for example?
No, so the trend line is for that period of time, right?
Right.
So I'll just show you it's going to change. So right here, it has for 10-year on a weekly, it's cresting at the literal top for the stock, right? If I go to, so just remember 45. If I go to the 3-year, I'm guessing that's not the case. It might be. It's actually coming right on a shorter term. We have a series of lower highs. So it's actually starting there and coming down, right? That's why you have to check multiple time frames. Trends are different over time. Over the long, I mean, you guys, if you guys want to feel really sick in your stomach and your long stocks, just look at every 10-year chart and they all look like you're going to lose everything, right? They all look like it's coming all the way down. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. That's what happens when a bull market ends and you hit a bear market. Everything looks horrible. Then you start going to shorter time frames and you get kind of better ideas. And that's why, by the way, I don't make decisions on the 10-year charts. I just want to make sure there's no reason to stop.
How do Trade Machine members access the $11 cost? For now, you can email support, but if you are a little patient, you'll get an email this week that has a unique coupon code for you to enter.
If you want it today,
checking out.
Yeah, if you want it today, if you want, you can just go here and then email support. You know what, guys, we're going to give you, obviously, we're going to give you a discount.
Yeah, actually, we'll create one for you guys and we'll put it No, yeah, we'll email it. Sorry.
Okay.
There are a lot of complications with these coupon codes. So
Sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. That's true. It's not mine.
yeah, just email support and they will create a coupon code for you.
Don't use
It
this.
might be Monday before you get it, but
don't use that. Sorry.
yeah, if you sign up via any other link, you can pay full price now and then just email support. And if like you absolutely feel like you need to have it today, they'll give you a refund for the difference and then adjust your ongoing subscription cost.
Yeah, we got you back, obviously.
But that said, like just email them. They'll give you the correct link and coupon code. And that goes for CMO Pro members too for your $28 coupon. Will the screener work equally well to screen for shorts with negative free cash flow?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're talking about a screen for weakness. Yeah, absolutely. So the reason I don't do that on demonstrations is because like 99.9%, I'm just making up a number, of retail investors just don't even conceive of shorts, which is fine. That doesn't, you can make plenty of money just getting long and finding strength, right? Now it's regional banks or oil. But yeah, of course, just reverse what I did. Look for negative free cash flow. So literally, like when I say reverse, I mean literally, right? So free cash flow is positive. Okay, let's do free cash flow has a maximum of 0. All right. RS is 80 to 100. Nope. 0 to 20. RS, EPS rating. Nope. Or we did buy sell rating. 0 to 20. We'll do the overall. Let's go to other. Well, where's the other RS? Blah, blah, blah. EPS rating. Yeah, sorry. Right, just reverse it. But obviously you can't have stock up and stuff, right? You have to take out all that stuff. Oh, and then this has to change. And here's 16 companies, right? Now it's just look here. Now we've got a bunch of red. It'll be interesting actually now that they said that, which industries, which sectors. Technology. You're welcome. You're welcome, CML Pro members. It's technology. Oh, let's just look at a weak one. Just curious. Since we're here on a charting webinar, I'll take out RSI. That doesn't look like it's a problem. Ooh, that's a nasty one. Let's do 10-year first. Okay, yeah. Let's see the monthly. Just curious.
Oh, you're zoomed in.
5-year. Oh my God. Yeah. Like that is just not a good looking chart. The one criticism I'd have of this chart is maybe, all right, this helps a little. Short term gives me room. Was this $18 stock? Room to 15. It feels like maybe the bad stuff has happened already. But yeah, you can definitely screen for weakness. Absolutely. And by the way, something I'll just say right now, a bear market is an ideal time to do pair trading. So for every dollar you're long something, you're also short something, right? So you'd be, let's say in this example, you were long Apple, I don't know, right? And then you were short their stock and you were long, you had $100 long Apple and $100 short Domo, right? And then you're immunizing yourself from market risk. And so 100%, I think that's a reasonable idea. I can't give advice. I have the disclaimers. That's so I'm not giving advice, but yes, absolutely.
If we mark up charts, do the lines stay on the chart when we come back to Pattern Finder in the future?
No.
So some of your settings will stay the same, but not the markup. So eventually we'll have capability to save chart. So like for now, the best thing would be probably just to take a screenshot.
What you will definitely have is it will persist through timeframes, right? And it'll adjust. That's awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
but no,
if you change the ticker, I think the drawing goes away too, because it's no longer relevant to the chart.
Yep.
But yeah, eventually we'll have save chart.
Oh yeah, of course. We'll also have a notes section. So down here will be a little thing that says notes, and you'll be able to write a note to yourself. So like, I don't remember what I thought about the stock. So.
Is there a coupon code or some other way to let the website know that I'm a Trade Machine member? Yeah, email support and they'll give you a coupon. Or if you wait this week, you'll get one via email.
Yeah, if you absolutely want it now, you can use the link, and then we'll deal with it on Monday. You'll definitely get your money back.
I feel bad for the support team.
Yeah, It's all right.
What does the $11 option do that CML version does not have?
Oh, you mean for Trade Machine? Oh, yeah.
Oh, so this is a completely different software than Trade Machine. So this would be like adding an extra software. The Trade Machine version of the Create tab will have all of these charting tools. So like
But just this. Just this.
the trend lines and
Mhm.
patterns and stuff
Mhm.
like that, but you won't be able to screen on fundamental data if you add the $11. If you're getting full access to the full pattern finder
You
software.
also you won't have the breakouts of like when cups are about to happen. That's what's coming, right? That was just
Yeah.
showing that you won't be able to screen on volume data. You know, like, hey, I want to see a stock that's like 10 times daily volume. So,
But as far as
You'll have
charting
this.
tools,
You'll
you'll have
have
that
this.
on your Create tab if you're already a Trade Machine member. So if that's all you're interested in, don't worry,
Yeah.
it's coming.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. And that's
I
why
would assume probably by the end of November,
no, I'd say end of the year. Yeah.
end of year. Yeah, we're getting into that time of year where everything's coming at once. Like a VWAP if meant. Oh, I think that was in regards to something you were saying at the time. What fib lines are available? Right now it's just the standard.
We have the 2 retracements and then the extensions. So the 618 and 382, and then obviously the extensions. Those are 1, 2, 7 extensions.
Yeah, we might, if Fibonacci is a popular thing for people, we could add customization, but
Yeah, absolutely.
this
It
is
would
just
actually
like
probably be in the
the
drawing
most
tool.
popular version of it.
Yeah.
Does Pattern Finder work on the 1 minute chart?
It does. So the question
Yeah.
is, do the trend lines, and not yet. So that will be by the end of this month. When you go to your one day, 5 day, 3 month, even if they're minute charts, you'll have all of these pink lines and the thing. If you're wondering why we didn't, is that we actually did it to start. We didn't like it. We didn't like what we were seeing. But we didn't build this for ourselves. We built this for you. So, right.
Well,
so
we're gonna enhance it and optimize it, and then it will be incorporated.
Yeah.
But we don't want to give bad trends for those shorter time frames with the minute candles. It's not optimized yet, so it's coming.
Yep. Oh yeah, and urgently. So the first thing we're doing is these breakouts, which are actually, I don't want to share the screen. So if I share the screen, you'll see the URL, but these are actually kind of done. So it's coming in like a week. And then the next thing will be the alerts thing. So the alerts platform, so crosses the 50-day moving average, blah, blah. The thing after that is the patterns in the minute charts. That's absolutely 100% happening soon.
Do you plan to add volume profile?
I don't know. Oh, like a rating? I don't know what a volume profile is. Like a volume rating maybe, but we do have some volume stuff here. We could add more, but like you can see what today's volume is relative to the 50-day moving average, average volume here, right? So you can see like, okay, today what stock is this? Okay, did 254,000 shares. That's really, really low relative to the last 3 months, 4 weeks, and 10 days. So there is some profile information here.
What timeframes do you use for swing trading? If you're buying options, how far do you place your trades for swing trading?
So that's more of a Trade Machine question, and it depends on what I'm doing. But in general, I'm not a super short-term trader, so I'm like a week to 3 months. That's kind of my thing. I know that's a big window, but that's where I go. Sometimes you guys, I have a webinar out there on how to speculate with options. It's actually one of my favorite webinars, and that was a multi-year speculation. And I went like point by point on a trading plan, and how obviously I showed one that worked. Okay, you guys, I'm not going to show one that didn't work. You got it, right? Not all my trades make that much money. You know that, but you'll see one. Sometimes I'll go longer term, but I'm usually a week to 3 months.
Okay. Where do current CMOVIS subscribers go to sign up? So I've been seeing a lot of these questions, so I'm just going to say it one last time, like you can email support. Otherwise, we're going to send out an email this week with coupon. This week was our soft launch, so not everybody got access to Pattern Finder right away.
Ooh, you know what? How do you like this answer? After the webinar, Alicia, why don't we go into community, CML Pro community and Trade Machine community, and just do it? Just post it, the link with the coupon code. feel okay with that?
No, but I'll talk to you about, we can do it for single Pro, but not Trade Machine, and I'll tell you why after.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
That's fair.
but with Trade Machine, you will be getting individual coupon codes, don't worry.
Oh,
But
okay.
you can get it from support later.
Okay. I
I think
understand.
you just had two points connect in your head right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm not going to ask those out loud anymore. So I see a lot of them. I'm just going to let you guys know. Email support, or if you're a Trade Machine member, wait and you'll get one later this week. Or you can sign up now and email support and they'll adjust your pricing for you and give you a prorated refund. Okay. Will it have 5 minutes? Oh, we should have 5 minutes already.
No, I have 1 minute, 15 minute. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how many people want it, but I'm pretty good with 1 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, but it's definitely like, can we? Yeah, we can. It's what is more important, right? Well, what's the most important thing we can offer? So it's definitely possible.
This is a pricing question. Are any of the lines more important, trend versus congestion?
To me, yes. So let's just say I wanted to get long this stock. I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought this looked like a time to buy. In this regard, like, this is not relevant to me, this trend resistance. I mean, these are the ones that are relevant to me, right? So it depends on the stock. So I'm not going to get to this green line unless I go through all of these really, really, really tight congestions. So then the congestion lines matter more. But when I'm looking at, I think it was Apple. I'm not mistaken. Oh no, yeah, maybe. Yeah, so it really depends on where something is, where stock is. In general, I'm not, unfortunately, we're in a bear market, so I'm not like a huge fan of lower highs like Apple has. No, that's not Apple, that's American Airlines. Sorry. Okay, in this case, it would be the trend line that I care about most rather than this congestion point. But, I don't like, almost every tech stock's going to have this lower highs thing. So I mean, honestly, that's not a great look, right? This is as someone who owns tech, who's getting his face, his teeth kicked in. I'd rather ExxonMobil, right? I'd rather Eli Lilly. I shared this on Twitter. Like, that's a fucking beautiful chart, right? You look at the 10-year, even if we do it monthly, that's what I'm talking about, right? This thing is now at all-time highs through resistance. Like, I'd rather that. So that's when it depends where the stock is for congestion line and trends, but I like the slope of the trend line. If I'm going to be long, I want them up. I want higher lows and higher highs.
Okay. Product is great. What is the reason to not include 6-month chart? That's my most currently used.
Oh, we can, but I'll show you how to do that. It's a fair question. So you can do a 6-month chart, right? So go to 9 months. Let's do it daily because we're not going to be psychotic. You can zoom in. I'm just using my mouse button. I'm just scrolling. Now my mouse button, my scroll, I'm scrolling in, right? Do you see this getting? Right? So now I'm about 6 months, right? No, not quite. Now I'm 6 months, right? I'm April to September, and you can obviously go back and forth. That's fine. But so you can zoom in to get your 6 months. I suppose we could add some more. You can always view the time frame you want.
Do you use these scans to find do you use these scans to find for the stock service you have? I'm a member there as well. Oh, for Single Pro.
No. I wish I could run a screen and find these companies. That shit's way harder. That is way harder. It's like 200 hours per stock, of which 100 hours are spent before I know I don't want it. So.
Is there a way to remove the gray overlay with the candle metrics while moving the mouse on the chart? Yeah, just click the tooltip off button or tooltip on, and that'll give you that. But the crosshairs don't go away.
Yeah, well, I don't think you want them to.
I don't know. Would people want that? I don't know.
I don't see any reason to take crosshairs off. But yeah, what she just said.
But yeah, tooltip on, tooltip
off. Yeah.
Is there a coupon for trade? Yeah, yes. Again, email support. 0-day option scanner.
Don't know what that means. We do have real-time volumes. If you want volume today, we start using, we extrapolate for the full day and we start at 6:45. So Pacific time. So 15 minutes after the open. We don't use like the first 7 shares traded, but after 15 minutes or so, maybe it's half an hour, we start the real-time. There's real-time volume and you can look for stocks with exploding volume today. In fact, I think I have a pre-built screen for you guys. Yeah, bullish heavy volume on the day, bearish heavy volume on the day. That's real time, if that's what you meant. That's like an hour after the open or half an hour after the open, you can click on that. What was bullish yesterday? Just out of curiosity. Oh wow. The monster stock Dexcom. Oh my God. Yeah, might as well just turn this off. Wow. Sorry, I get lost in charts pretty easily.
Yeah. Let's focus. Is there a limit on your end to how many windows we can keep open? Not right now.
I don't think so. No.
Not right now. Yeah. If we feel like it's starting to get abused, we might put a limit on, but for now, I don't see a reason to do that.
You guys see the stocks? I don't know you trade the stock. What the hell is going on? This is insane.
Do we have any control over those trend lines, moving them or selecting a different starting point with the current time frame? Yeah, I think we already went over that, but yeah, you just click on the line and like these little yellow boxes will appear and you can move them wherever you want to put them. That's an important distinction. We went high RS, but a low RSI to get long.
That's right. That's right. That's how I look at it. Yep. That question was a really good question.
Yeah, it was a great question. Can the stochastics numbers be customized?
No, not yet.
Not yet. We can add that to our feature request list.
I think this is the slow stow that a pretty well-known trader uses.
Will we be able to screen industry and or chart industry technicals? Thanks.
We should be able to. So you can chart industries with ETFs. The question, it's a really good question, which is like, so first of all, you can run a screen. Okay. So you can run a screen just inside a certain sector, or let's just say industry. I don't know. Biotech. Right. And now there's 353 companies. You start going. I think the question though is, can you just do a screen that says, show me the best industries right now? Not yet. We have the data and I have to figure out a good way to get that in, but that will come. So you could do a screen that says like an industry that has an RS over 50 or over 80, right? Which industry's relative strength is greater than 80, right? So that's a really good idea. And it's definitely on the list. It's not the current list, but it's a very good idea. And I would turn to ETFs. Let's say you wanted to see how the financials were doing, just to get a look at like their chart. Let me get rid of the slow stuff. All right, so here's XLFs. Like that just looks gorgeous. Let's see what's going on here. Oh my God, yeah. But I mean, didn't we know this was going to happen? Like we looked at the screen and we looked at what was coming up. Yeah, the regional banks are just making this rip. Like that's just beautiful all the way around. Let's go here. Well, there you go. Always a reason not to trade, right? Okay. It's a great looking chart.
Okay. Is there a screen for RSI?
No, we'll get there, but no, interestingly. That's actually something Trade Machine has that we don't. So.
How do you zoom into a particular area on the chart? Use your little wheel on your mouse, or if you're on a laptop, you use the 2-finger scroll. You know how you can like scroll down with 2 fingers on the little touchpad. That works on tablets too, by the way. Not that it's optimized for mobile use, but just in case you're on the go and you're using an iPad, you can do that. And we are going to be incorporating click scrolling. So like if you click on certain candles and drag you'll be able to zoom into a particular area. That will be coming soon.
Yeah,
We're
rather
working
than
on it.
right now it does this, but yeah. It's supposed to zoom. Yeah, that's so we call it zoom focus. That's probably a 2023 thing, but yeah.
It's coming though.
Mhm.
Does it cover futures and indexes? Not futures.
It does. It has SPX and NASD and thugs, but no futures.
If we sign up but want to cancel later, how do we do that? So in the top right hand corner, there's a little guy or girl or whatever. Just click that, click account, and then go to subscriptions. And Ophir obviously isn't paying for it.
Yeah, and then you just cancel.
Freeloader. But yeah, there's a little button over there next to your subscription. You just hit cancel and it will not renew your subscription. You'll have access to the platform through your billing period. So whatever you already paid for, you'll have access to the account through that period, but it will not renew. Are you able to?
Sorry, go ahead.
What'd you say?
So who wants to get long XLF with me? Go
Oh
ahead.
gosh, you're on a rant now. Are you able to offer the prior success rate of the pattern breakouts over chosen time periods, i.e. probability of success in a similar market period and trend?
So there is no back testing in this because if you think about it, so let me draw a pattern. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Hopefully there's some cups here. Ascending basis. Okay, so let's say you said, I want to know what like this is pattern breakout. It says a recent ascending base, like what is the win rate? Here's the problem. An ascending base is defined as 3 higher lows, like 1, 2, 3, and then we have to define bases, right? It is by definition, right? By definition, it's going to start here and be higher. So the back test doesn't make sense. That's like saying, I want to back test all the stocks where I was right. It's going to be positive and good. So same thing with a cup with a handle. But if you go to, I think Apple has some cups. What's interesting about a cup or cup of handle is not that it's bullish or bearish per se. Once a cup is completed, so let's move the handle, right? When a cup, this is in the video, when a cup forms, okay, the top of the cup is automatically turns into resistance, right? Peak, and for it to be a cup, it has to come down a little bit. That's now resistance. So you could look at a cup as a short-term bearish signal. In general, right, if there's a little bit of a handle and the handle only comes down, I think it's a can slim thing. I think it's 40% of the width of the cup. So let me get out, come back in. So if this down is only like 30% of the cup and then we start going up, then it's bullish. But to scan for a cup with handle, it's guaranteed that it's going to be positive. So it's not, these are not things you back test. And that's why it's not officially a part of Trade Machine. It's not a back testing thing. That's not how chartists work. That's just not how they work.
Okay. When is Sophia going to buy Alicia new Mercedes?
In December, it looks like.
Yeah, I think December, their Christmas present. We would certainly like to see your mug over yours.
Oh, that's fucking hardcore. I'm gonna hold on a second. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start sharing my video. Alicia Newman is here. I do not, guys. I suck so bad at Zoom.
I use the same email address for both. Yeah, that's fine. So if you already signed up for Pattern Finder at full price and you're a CML Pro or Trade Machine member, just email support, tell them the situation, tell them your username for that platform, and they'll give you a discount and probably give you a prorated refund for the amount you overpaid to.
Okay, you can now share.
Oh gosh.
You guys want me to hide my video? I'm not hiding my video. That was just rude. I'm not hiding my video.
Cancellation policy, cancel anytime. There's no commitment. You can cancel in your account tab. You don't even have to contact support.
Yeah,
you'll have access through your current billing period, and
it's a month-to-month subscription. You're committing to $38.
We might eventually have yearly subscriptions, but right now it's a month-to-month. And then for cancellations, if you're a CML Pro member or a Trade Machine member and you're getting a discount because you're that member, if you cancel that membership, you're going to go back to full price on Pattern Finder. Just FYI.
Just so you know.
Storm last night, internet trouble all day. So is this recorded? Yes, this is recorded and it will be emailed to everybody who registered, and we're probably going to email it to, current users too. It's in the 60s, scroll down.
What?
I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Maybe a chart that you were looking at. How do you learn which fundamentals matter most?
Yeah, training on fundamental analysis is complex. There's a whole series called Chartered Financial Analyst. It takes at least 3 years. It's just I can't answer that in a like a quippy way, other than what I said. Like if you're looking for the cheat sheet, revenue is growing, free cash flow is positive and growing, EPS is growing and positive. But to really get into it, I mean, that's why we have CML Pro, and I talk to CEOs. That shit's not easy.
Okay, so let's do a fun screen on high growth.
Oh yeah, sure. I have that built in. The camera's still going to be on you, but I'm also going to share my screen. Okay, so everybody's happy.
Oh gosh, I like seeing your face. You can share your face.
Oh yeah, no, I was
favorite face.
I was hardcore called out right there. Fundamentals, long-term high revenue growth, hyper revenue growth here. They're all down. Stock on the year down. Oh no, interesting. Health tech, a utility. Interesting. She's dying over there, guys. She has a really bad cold. GitLab, huh? Snow. Which one do you want me to look at? GitLab or Snow? They're gonna say Snow. I can already tell. All right.
Yep, Snow.
Yeah, I do it. The 10-year. Oh, 10 years doesn't matter. It hasn't been around. So 3-year weekly. I mean, that definitely doesn't look bad. That looks bad. I would duck. Yeah, I'm not. I don't love that. It has held support and is rising support, so that's good. But 18 months. Oh dear God. So I mean, it just smacked into resistance and. But in all fairness, it did it on the 8-9 months. But keep in mind, guys, when earnings comes, like this almost doesn't matter. If earnings comes like Apple and then it's over and the stock's up, then you start saying, okay, where's my target? But for now, did they have earnings? No, they didn't. No, not yet. But this is one where the 3-year looks good and the 18-month looks terrible. So let's put it this way. I'm not long.
Okay.
Yep.
If I wanted to see stocks that seem to routinely trade sideways to be able to have premium option selling campaign, how would you scan for those patterns?
It's a very good question. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, this is what I would do. For now, I would go to make sure, I would say, I don't want the stock to move a lot. So it's moved by a minimum or maximum or minimum of 20%. That's stupid. And I would go to the 52-week high and low. So stock change versus no. Last close for the 52-week high, it's a maximum of, ooh, I have to think about it. It's in here, but you'd have to really think about it. Like the closing range. Yeah, I'd have to think about it. It's a good one. Maybe an RS of 50, something like that. But I'd start limiting what the stock could have done, right? Force a lack of volatility.
Okay. Does Pattern Finder only scan NYSE NASDAQ stocks? Will they also cover OTC markets?
Almost certain we have OTC, right? So here we can just, you want to check this, it's a really good way. Revenue, let's say maximum of $50, stock price maximum of $5. These are going to be OTC stocks. Yeah, there's 1,000. I mean, $2. Yeah, we have 700 companies less than $2 with less than $50 million here. I mean, there's 500. Yes, we have a fuck ton of OTC stocks. These are going to be nobody's. So, oh, actually just go to valuation, market cap, maximum of $50 million. There you go. Yes, we clearly have OTC stocks.
Comment, this webinar hit the mark. Appreciate the why before the how and the quick summary in the first hour for those who are time challenged. Thank you. Does Ophir have an article on pair trading for a good reference or a good reference? Sorry.
Yeah. So if you guys go to our Substack, patternfinder.substack.com, patternfinder.substack.com, and go to the posts. How would I say that? These aren't all of them. How do I see all of them? Oh, maybe if I click see all. Pair trading. So I wrote one on September 29th, trading in a bear, pair trading on charts relative strength. So I'll put this in chat to everyone. But yeah, it's where I talk about. I think it's a really reasonable conversation. There, you guys can check that out. And I talk about like, here's how you pair trade. Here's what you're pair trading. Here's step 1, step 2. Like.
So then there would be no need to purchase if we want to do, as you said, use the today tab and then confirm it with a long, intermediate, short-term chart. That's correct.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you just won't have the screener and the fundamental data, but I mean, if you're not worried about that, neither am I.
No, I think we've made Trade Machine a far richer platform, and I think we did that for no cost for you for a reason. We want you to stick around, right? So yeah.
Does it have VWAP?
No, we don't have volume weighted average prices.
No. We can add it to feature requests.
Yep, go ahead.
Just write it down.
Can you also write down to put the pair trading Substack in the help thing?
On help?
Yeah, I think like just have something that says pair trading and then link to it. It's already written.
Yeah, the help section, guys, is like version 1 from the beta test that you're going to have a new help section. Well, an expanded help section, I should say, soon.
Yeah.
But we're still changing a lot of the UX and stuff based on your feedback. So that's why that's a little behind. You might see things that look different than your screen, but that will be updated. What about longer term trend lines on short term charts? You could draw them yourself with the drawing tools and then change to a short-term chart to see where it lands on the short-term chart, I guess.
That's right.
So but yeah, our algorithmic ones change based on the time frame. So
oh, that's weird. I thought Jay published pattern breakouts to S2. Guess not. All right, never mind.
Okay.
I was going to show them something.
Can you select log scale for charts? That wasn't quite ready in the beta test yet. So we used to have log scale.
Yeah.
It wasn't working right. We'll bring it back when we get it working properly.
Yeah. It was the right idea. It was a failure in our execution.
Yeah, it didn't look good. We'll just say that. Volume at price. Volume at price.
Yeah, we don't have the scan per se. I mean, obviously you have the bars, but I think you're asking for something that I'm not familiar with, which is okay. So that happens, but I think that's why the answer I'm giving you isn't satisfactory. It's not you, it's me.
Oh, well, here for whoever asked that other question, I think they mean volume by price as another name versus volume profile. It's the bell curve of volume on the side versus.
Oh, you guys are talking about this thing. Right. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. That's not on the list, but it could be. Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood. They're talking about this kind of curve here that has the volume by price. Yeah. It's a super interesting way to look at. Just adds another dimension to charting.
Yeah. I'll add it to our feature request list.
Yeah. I think the biggest changes you're going to see to Pattern Finder after we fill in the things that are like they're missing, right? Is really improved charting. Like we have a lot to go. The algorithms I think are very good. They'll get to excellent, but we're just going to make the interface that you have with the charts very pleasing.
Yeah. Lulu and Oxy trades that you shared on Twitter, is it at Ophir Gottlieb? That's correct.
Yeah.
OPHIRGOTTLIEB.
I can pull it up.
As in boy.
Yeah, it's kind of feels self-serving to have my profile up here, but they've asked. So, okay.
You're
hold on one thing. Sorry to interrupt you. There's a lot of fakes. Make sure it's the one with the check mark. There's a lot of fucking fakes.
There's some parody accounts out there.
Yeah, just make sure there's a blue check mark. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, this guy's crazy.
You have to laugh at it because otherwise it's very frustrating.
Yes.
You're an awesome team and we appreciate you
again.
all. Keep up the great evolution, innovation to the software apps. Thanks. Thank you.
Let me just say one thing. I will never direct message you about cryptocurrencies or it's like, just if that's happening and you think you're following me, it's not me. I'm not going to direct message you about a crypto scam. That's happened to people too with they put, instead of OPHIR, they put OPH1R Gottlieb, something like that. Like, so I will never direct message you about investments. It's not me. Okay.
How long is the $38 a month price available? That's the intro offer, and I think it's going to expire this week, actually.
2 days. Yeah, I think it's ending Monday.
November 1st, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So I should have said that. Sorry, guys. If you want it for $38, or you think you might want it for $38, it's ending. Like that's ending. This is not a $38 platform, right?
It's going to be 48 retail. But the $38, like the introductory offer for the people who are a part of the soft launch, and that's locked in for life. Like as long as you don't cancel your account, you'll have it as that 38 a month. But yeah, that pricing is going to expire on the 1st. Let's see, just sent my email request for CMO Pro coupon, but if it's posted to community, I'll use that. Thanks. Yeah. We can create another single use for community, I think. This is great. I can wait for later this week. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. It sounds like Alicia's the boss. Sometimes. Sometimes, not always. Finally, another F-bomb, laugh out loud. Yes.
I got you guys. I got you. I know what you came for. I know what you came for. If it's going to be on the weekend, it's got to be entertaining. I got it. Any
plan to offer bar charts as an option to candlesticks?
Yeah, I think that's what I was talking about. Like the interactivity with the chart and what's offered in it is just going to be far richer. We have what we've considered the bare minimum for the usability. So like, I think it's good. And then the trends, the algorithms are very good. That was the crucial part. We wanted the trends to be excellent and the flexibility in the charting to be excellent, and we will get there. It's just one thing at a time, right?
So if I type in a ticker, can I see all the screen characteristics like RS and RSI and growth, etc.?
Yes. So let's just pretend we did snow. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can try the snapshot, which will have a lot of it. So here's like the RS versus industry and versus the market, which is the Russell 3000 12-month, 3-month. You can see our ratings. Some interesting. This is supposed to say 3 years ago, not 2 years ago. It's a bug. We know. I got it. These are some valuation things, but if you want you're like, okay, that's pretty good, but I want details. That's what all of these are, right? That's what these tabs are. You get real details, right? So, right, relative strength, things like that, volume, like you can start getting a lot of details.
What are the little circles all over the charts? They seem to be on horizontal lines.
Yeah, they're the local
high and lows.
Yeah, and actually Alicia just got this in here for now. It was I don't know if you say horizontal, maybe horizontal.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's there. If you spell it correctly. There you go.
So that's what those little circles are.
0 DTE.
0 days to expiration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's in Pattern Finder. Oh, there's no such thing as that in sorry, Trade Machine. That Trade Machine looks for options that actually exist. We don't manifest them. So if there's nothing that's 0 days to expiration, then we'll choose the closest one. Right? I don't want to start talking about Trade Machine.
Will there be a discount on Pattern Finder for Trade Machine stock members? We actually haven't talked about that. We could give you guys probably the same discount as CMO Pro.
Yeah, let's do that.
$28. Yeah.
Yes, there will be. Thank you for asking. Yes.
Yeah, let me just.
You deserve a discount.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
The reason, just to be clear, the reason Trade Machine Pro members are getting such a big discount is because Trade Machine Pro is quite expensive.
Yeah, these people are paying $129 a month for an options platform. I'm not trying to, right? We're still a for-profit business. We're not trying to, squeeze people. It's inflation and stocks are down. We got it. We feel it too.
What is the support email? That's support@cmlviz.com. Want to type that up? Okay. Can the MACD numbers be customized? Not yet, but we can add that to our feature request list. MACD customization.
I think MACD customization is the single most important customization of the technicals we offer. The rest of them, it's like, yeah, I'm not that motivated, but that one is important.
Could you add RSI to the screener?
Yeah, it's actually on the dev list.
Yeah. How soon will the free version be available on CML Trade Machine? By the end of the year.
Yeah, probably
about as committed as we can get. Our development team's like.
Yeah, the reason we're not super urgent. The reason we're not super urgent is it's definitely coming. And if you really want it, then you can pay $11 a month for 2 months, then cancel when it's in there. So we're not asking a lot of you, right? So if we weren't offering this crazy discount on Trade Machine, we'd be like hair on fire, right? It's like that wouldn't be fair.
Any easy identification for high and low volume sessions, colors, dots, or the like?
No, but one of the things that we're going to do is start coloring these volume bars, right? Yeah. So, like I said, there's just, there's an endless amount to do on charts, but the most important thing from all these features is, do I have a trading plan by just looking at a chart? And you do. And that was the single most important thing about Pattern Finder. And that's why people enjoy it so much. Are there other cool things? Of course. But can I make money with this? Can this help me make money? Yes.
Is there a way to look at tabulated data, for example, day vol versus 30-day average for a watch list?
Yeah. So under the volume, so create a new screen. Under stock volume, you're going to get all this stuff like that. Today versus the 30-day, today's volume versus the sum of the last 5 days, today's volume versus the last 20 days, 50 days, today's volume. Also, like one of the ones I love is up volume to down volume. So this, unfortunately, let me open a screen that, here, up volume to down volume. So if I put 0.5, that means down volume is 2 to 1 on up volume, right? Now you're starting to find companies that have a lot of selling, right? Interesting. Oh, sorry, not minimum. I'm stupid. Yeah, right. Now you're looking at companies that have 4 to 1 down volume to up volume. So yes. In the stock volume tab, you have a lot of stuff.
So if I type in a ticker, can I see all the screen characteristics like RS and RSI and growth? I think we just answered that. Actually.
Yeah, it was just a repeat question.
Yeah. Can you scan for earnings surprise, both quarter over quarter and year over year?
So let me see.
I don't think we have that. Well, movement off earnings for the last.
Oh, I don't think we have surprise. We could do that. We have that data. We can definitely do if there's acceleration or the change. No, I don't have surprises yet. We could do surprises.
We're going to be adding some earnings screens too. So.
Oh yeah, like 7 days before earnings, 14 days before earnings. Yeah. Do you guys see the results of these screens? Like,
earning beats by revenue and EPS.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't see a stock going to 0. It's got a stock going to 0. Called it. Was that helpful, guys? I called it when it was 35 cents, when it was high as 16. Did that help you?
Is there a way to screen by volatility, for example, drawdown?
Not yet. You can do how close you are to the 52-week average. 52-week low or 52-week high. So you can definitely do that. So let's just say we wanted to see stocks that are way off the 52-week high. So as a percent of the 52-week high, or actually, how about this? It's a percent of the 52-week low. Yeah, here you go. These are stocks which are just crumbling. So yeah, if you take your time to look at these, there's almost everything. I said almost. I got that there's not everything. So these stocks should be completely collapsing. Let's see. Penny stock. Never mind. That wasn't interesting at all. Right. Anyway. OG. There you go. A ticker with my initials. You're welcome. Legit. Okay. Is that it?
What is the other tool that we can get for $11 if your pattern finder is a Trade Machine? No, pattern finder is $11 if you're a Trade Machine Pro member.
Yeah. So here, Trade Machine is $129. You can add pattern finder.
I am in both CMLViz and TM, not Trade Machine Pro. The 28 would be great. Yeah, we'll get that out. We'll send out coupon codes for stock Trade Machine users. You guys can have the CML Pro pricing. Could you demonstrate Fibonacci on any chart?
Yeah, sure. So it's best if you find something that's, what was it? Eli Lilly was breaking out, right? All-time highs. It's like, I'm talking all-time highs. Yeah, so let's say you're looking at this 10-year chart. This is an all-time high. You're like, well, what next? So throw on the Fibonacci, it's going to give you a 1.27 extension. Like that would be the next monster move, right? 460. So that's how you would do it. Also, you could use this. It's super interesting in this chart how the 382 retracement is right on support. Like we don't plan that, but it just happens to happen. So it happens to happen. Yeah, so here would be the extension.
Can you add a 50-day average volume line to the volume chart for easy viewing?
Yeah, write that
Yeah,
down.
we can do that.
So actually compute the 50-day average already because it's in the screener.
50-day average. Some good ideas here. I think we got that already. Can you export to a spreadsheet?
Yeah, so
no, it's unfortunate we cannot do that. It'd be a violation of our data contract.
So we could, right? But then we cannot charge you guys $38 or $48 a month, right?
Yeah,
now we have to go back to like IBD pricing, $150 a month, right?
Yeah.
So now having said that, sometimes people do things like this and they hit Control C. I'm just saying in Control V, you know, like I don't think anyone should do that, but it's possible.
It's possible. Can you scan for historical earnings gaps?
That was asked. No, we should get that in. Yeah.
And that's all the questions.
Oh, nice job, dude. Well done. Okay, so I'm going to turn her off, whatever. Stop video. I'll stop my video. My video's off. Nobody cares. Okay. I'll share the screen. I actually had a thing that I was going to say. No, I didn't. Oh yeah, Q&A. All right, guys. So if you're a Trade Machine member, it's $11. You're going to get on the Create tab. So if you have a little bit of patience and you don't care about the screener, it's coming. CML Pro member, you have a special price. If you're neither of those things, this price is ending. It's only month to month, so you are committing to $38. It's not a big number, I think, like $1.20 a day. And there's a lot more coming, as a lot more is coming for those of us who have a history. Trade Machine used to be $49 a month, for those of you that don't know, and now it's $129. And why did that happen? Because it got more powerful. So there will be an elevator in Pattern Finder, so just consider that. Other than that, I thank you deeply for your, let me turn my camera on so it feels a little bit more sincere. I thank you deeply for your time this weekend. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you enjoy the rest of your year. Hope you have a great Halloween and Thanksgiving and, you know, holiday time. And generally, I just hope that you continue to honor yourselves in all things you do. And through that, just express love to everyone else that you come into contact with. And that's it. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.